Just one more second.
I just got a notification that we are live.
We are live now. Okay, you can go ahead.
All right. This feels very different, but I am convening the Finance Committee meeting. Present are Finance Committee members Jamel Robinson, Alfredo Ballerin, and Mike O'Brien. Also present is member Richard Conti. We have staff members. We've got J.R. Pichardo, Michelle Andre, Danielle Gillespie, David Gallen, and the incredible Mike Wheeler joining us this evening. I wanted to begin, we're taking things slightly out of order. If we have invited Mr. Roy Vincent, if he jumps on, then we'll take his piece when he gets on here. But I also wanted to, Mike is going to speak to 223120R, which is the codes union agreement. And I know that he's been really crazy with all of the virus things. So I wanted to take that out of order so he could kind of speak to that piece, and perhaps we can pass that to let him get back to that, because I know he's been kind of crazy. So.
Okay. Ready? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a 2-year deal, with the first year being a 12% increase in wages, the second year a 2% increase in wages. We worked very hard with Rick Joy and his management team to get what we felt was a representative offer to the union to get them much more in line with what's happening in other municipalities as far as their salaries go. We have offered increases to longevity as well. Other than that, there's not much changes from the first contract that we signed. We did only decide to go with a 2-year deal this year because Rick does have some operational changes he wants to make, especially with how on-call and overtime is being implemented and distributed. So that's why we did a 2-year deal. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's just something we felt was necessary to get these guys in line with where they should be earning.
Great. Are there any questions from committee members?
Of people now?
Go ahead, Mike. I think you're asking a question.
Oh, yeah, I was asking whether they are at their full complement of dispatchers. Oh, no, you're talking about,
Yeah.
wait, which one of the questions?
And they are. The last I knew, they had filled all their positions.
For
Okay.
codes inspectors.
For codes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. At a recent meeting, Rick had said that they do have their full complement of codes inspectors.
Yep.
Or they do now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
They have for a couple months, I believe.
Jamel, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Richard?
No, I'm fine.
I'm assuming Alfredo does not. Oh, there's Alfredo. Do you have any questions?
I have a
Alfredo?
question.
All right.
I do. What is the 12%? So can we go through the budget? These were some of our lowest paid employees at one point. I know many of them are still in the mid-30s. So,
No, this brings them all to 41,000.
So
There's a chart that I sent a while back that you guys should have that shows what the salary increases are.
okay.
So you guys do have that information, and so you can see what the salaries are now from where they were going into it. So the code enforcement inspectors are jumping from 36.9 to 41.3, and then to 42.1 in the following year out.
Okay, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to double check. Thank you, Mike. I know
Sure.
that was a lot of work on your part, but thank you.
Sure, I'm glad we got it done.
Judy, we're discussing the codes union agreement.
Uh-huh. I'm sorry, I was late. I was trying to find the meeting notice with the email that had all the attachments for this. I'm still struggling with, now that I've signed on, where that is.
I just sent you an email with the agenda.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, no, that's Zoom. That's a Zoom info.
In her Zoom email, there actually is she has all the
Yeah.
documents attached to
Yeah,
it.
it's
Oh,
labeled
did it?
as the committee meeting notice, but it has everything in that same attachment.
Okay, so.
That's what I'm working on.
That was my problem. I'm used to everything being sent as separate attachments, so I was looking for the email with all the different attachments.
No, she's super efficient.
All right, that works. All right, is this the only one that you've talked about thus far?
Yep.
Buildings and regs, okay. Yes,
Yep,
I'm
this is the union agreement for buildings and codes.
yeah, I'm very pleased that we're increasing their salaries substantially.
So can I get, with no other questions, can I get a motion for this?
I will move this out of committee. I make a motion to move this out of committee with a favorable recommendation. It is resolution 22.31.20R.
And can I get a second?
Second.
Michelle, I'll let you decide who that second one.
Mike,
They're both pretty quick.
Mr. Mike.
Hi, Mike.
All in favor? I think maybe if we put our hands up, all in
Okay.
favor? Mike, are you voting? Oh, yep. Okay, that is unanimous.
Okay.
So 223120R is passed out of committee. Mike, thank you very much. I should say, Judy, before Mike goes, do you have any other specific questions for him? He's got other things tonight dealing with the virus, so I told him.
All right. No, I think that David has answered my question about the person in the mayor's office, which I had understood had already been moved to full-time, but and I was concerned that maybe there was a mega raise in there, but there's not.
Okay, great. Mike, thank you so much. We really appreciate you dialing in and all that you're doing.
I
Anytime.
have one question in.
Sure.
Sure.
Question. The DGS information clerks, are they unionized?
They are not.
Okay. Because if you look at our budget, they're one of the lowest paid staffers. They're in the low 30s. Yet, when you call DGS, they're working now.
Yeah, and I will tell you, before all this went down, I was working on something that I'm going to share with you shortly after I review with the mayor about bringing up those lowest paid salaries this year and not waiting to the budget for next year.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
So Mike,
you have a question.
Yes.
our approval resolution for the budget included memorialized sort of some discussions that there had been with the mayor's office with regard to doing a study with regard to all of the.
Judy, I can, so that's something we've been discussing in leadership.
All right.
I know that they're in the
Okay.
process of it. We have not brought it up at the most recent leadership meeting because we've been focused on the virus, but we have in several recent leadership meetings. I know that they're in process of doing that. And I believe, Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they're looking at potentially doing an RFP for it.
Yes. I'm not sure if the
So-
RFP has been out because it may have been stalled with this going on, but I
think
know it was in
it's stalled
process.
with this. So they're getting together an RFP. So I think we're
Yep.
still at that very beginning stage, but they are in the process of moving on it.
We are.
Great,
That's great.
great.
So,
I do have
all right,
a
Mike, thank you so much.
I do have a
Good,
question.
Jamal.
sorry,
Yeah.
Jamel has a question too.
Where are we with the 2020, I mean, for the budget books? Are those still being
You should
printed?
have them. You should have them. We got those in a while ago and brought a bunch up to the council chambers.
Yeah, I
We
think
sent
they
them.
were
We
in
sent
our.
them out before the coronavirus hit impacted. We sent everybody an email that we had them in your inboxes.
Yeah,
The link is online too.
Yeah,
It's
and you-
updated
right.
with the adopted version.
That's it.
all right, thank you, Mike.
Yep, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right,
Good,
I-
that brings Jamel up on my screen.
see, now you can
That's
just
a
hope
man,
for
isn't he?
the little pink bow that was there the other day.
Oh.
So Judy, just to keep you in the loop, if Mr. Vincent was invited to participate in this, if he jumps on, I said that we'd take that agenda item out of order so we can kind of talk to him about that piece, but I'm not sure that he's definitely going to. So let's,
Who's Mr. Vincent?
Roy Vincent, we're selling 2 lots to him, 3 lots to him.
He's the
Okay.
Roy's Restaurant
All right.
in Arbor Hill.
Really delicious food. Not that that should matter in a finance decision, but we don't always get to say that.
Is Trey with us today?
Is who?
Trey Kingston?
He is not, no.
All right.
We're not speaking about that piece of, that hasn't been introduced yet. So,
Oh, okay.
I mean, I guess he could speak on this, and this also has to do with Trey, local law D. So if we begin with
Yeah.
local law D, but it's also, if you read it, it's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, the STAR exemption process is a different process now so that you don't, it's automatic. You don't need to fill out those forms anymore. And
Right.
however, you still need to fill out the senior citizen exemption. So this past year, I think they said only 20% of the people that usually fill out a senior citizen exemption filled out a senior citizen exemption. So this changes the timeline to give the city more time, and they're also planning on mailing out information to people that received it in the past to kind of make sure that those people who are supposed to get a senior citizen exemption go through the process to actually get one.
Can I ask a question on that?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I didn't even put this all together, but previously, if you, previously, if you qualified for the enhanced STAR,
Yes,
you automatically got the senior because of the income differential.
exactly.
Okay, so now, and I guess we got out of the habit of having seniors do their separate one for our taxes,
Right.
right? So we've seen a drop off then in seniors who are getting that?
A dramatic drop off. So only 20% that filed previously. So we only have 20% of the people that got it filing. So that's like an 80% drop.
Okay. So we are then, I guess Trey is then sending or mailing, reaching out to all those people.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And presumably this is putting an extra workload on the assessor's office?
I don't remember the specifics of what he said when I spoke to him, but it wasn't something that he was overly concerned with.
Okay. All right.
It's something, he definitely wants this.
Yeah, I can see why now. So moving forward, it's important also that we make sure our constituents know that it's a separate application process instead of doing one they have to do.
Yes, and that is, they did do quite a bit of outreach on it, but that outreach clearly did not impact that.
Okay.
much. So,
All right. And this will catch those people who lost it retroactively, in a sense?
I don't know if that's the case. I know that it was kind of a difficult situation. I don't know if you can, JR,
Yeah.
do you know that? If they're able to through New York State Tax and Finance?
I mean,
I don't know
is there
about
going to be
So
a category
I
of
just know
people?
when it comes to this local law, it's too. Sorry, went in and out. It just, with this one, it's what the objective of this local law is Trey is that he's authority to extend it, because right now, as it is in the code, he doesn't have that authority.
Right.
So
right.
then they start accruing the interest as of the deadline, which I think is approaching very soon. So this would give him that time to even, not have to accrue interest for people.
So I guess the question was, are we going to be able to catch all those people that should have or assumed they did have and didn't get it? Or is there going to be a group that has just fallen through that will never be able to help?
It's entirely possible that we will miss people. But I think this is the first step to finding that out.
Okay.
So,
All right.
if there's no other questions, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to move this out with a favorable recommendation, and this is local law D.
Yes. Can I get a second?
Can I just note who we should fill in, who is the council member introducing this, or whether it's the Committee on Finance?
I think it's mine.
It's finance.
All right, so that should be inserted in there.
And Alfredo seconds. All in favor? Hold up our hands. That is unanimous. Okay, next we have 43.112.19, sale of 142 Livingston to the Albany County Historical Society. And this, they'd like it for preservation. I do not know if I'm going to give this justice, but it looks like the original Tenbrook line, property line went into where this, sorry, I'm sliding all over the place. It went into where 142 Livingston was. So they're.
If I could just say something, I volunteer at the Tenbrook Mansion for the Albany County Historical Society. And the original mansion property went right back to the next street behind it where King's Place is. And there was some houses that there was a house that was demolished, and there was a piece of parcel that I think was like an alleyway that belonged to the city. And it's all been developed into lawn space, connecting King's Place now with the actual mansion and an outdoor garden. So sometime if you get a chance, you should go over there and look at it, because they put a nice walkway in connecting the two. So that's how I understand it. It's a vacant piece of property that's going to stay vacant as part of the ambiance of the lawn and garden behind the mansion, which, by the way, is open to the public, to the people, the neighbors down there, if they want to go in and stroll through the yard.
Oh, that's nice. It's probably even a place that you could go to alone now.
Yes.
So the sale of that would be for $1,500. Do we have any questions, other questions on that?
Yeah, why don't we put the value of the property, what we're authorizing it to be sold for, in the text of the ordinance?
I don't know. I think that is an excellent request.
Well, I think what we're doing is we're authorizing the law department to enter into it. They may get what it's assessed for, they may get something different. But it's usually at the assessed value. And then this is just the boilerplate language. I mean, we can actually, I think in some situations in the past, we have put boilerplate language that says the sale price will be the assessed value or not less.
You can certainly request of the law department to add in, if the sale isn't at assessed value, to put in the assessed value.
They have said in the sponsors memo that it is the assessed value of this. I think that we can add to section 3, instead of ending it there with a period, provided, however, the sale price shall not be less than the assessed value.
Can I add one thing to this?
Yeah.
We told the Tenbrook Mansion that we wouldn't sell it for anything less than the assessed value. So, like, we're comfortable if you want to add that language in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a little checks and balances. That is the Common Council's role. So, JR, did you get that? Are you following what I'm suggesting? All right. So with that amendment, I make a motion to move this out of committee with a favorable recommendation.
With the amendment.
With the amendment.
With the amendment.
As amended.
Can I get a second on that?
Second.
All in favor, let's raise our hands, and I need to, that's unanimous. All right, moving on to 2.22.20, which, if that was a date, would be my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah. And this is the sale of 187 Henry Johnson Boulevard, 217 3rd Street and 219 3rd Street to Roy Vincent of Roy's Caribbean to expand his restaurant. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions. I know Darius, excuse me if I'm a little distracted. Darius is going to come on, but I need to get him the Zoom info. Here we go. So does anybody have any questions on this?
Do we know what the assessed value is? Are these vacant parcels?
I believe so, yes.
They are, well, I think there's 2 parcels of land, and I think Mr. Gallen can correct me if I'm wrong, 2 parcels of land behind the current restaurant that he wants to buy, and they currently serve as parking spaces for the APD. And I think that that's the parcels of land that he is going to be purchasing from APD, from the city.
And it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of movement going on in that area, and that restaurant has been there for a long time. And it goes from being, if it's non-tax based, to being taxed parcels. It helps the local business, and it a lot of responsibilities from the APD have been shifted out of there. So I'm assuming that's why they now have the freedom of space to be able to make this happen. So I think it's a good move. It's a win-win for everybody.
Could we hold on just one? Oh, it's 3rd Street.
Yes.
I plugged it into MapGeo and it came up with something different. I just want to see what the appraised value is in our database. It is, so 217 is vacant, and that land value is 15.8. The land value of 219 is $17,000. And 187 is valued at 187 Henry Johnson Boulevard is valued at $20,800. Do we have an explanation for David? Would you know why we're selling these? I mean, I got a question really whether or not these empty lots were worth this kind of money, but,
I don't know offhand, but we can find out, Judy.
I would,
I'm not sure at the moment.
I know that Mr. Vincent's been waiting a long time for the different pieces of this, so I would hate to stall this.
I'll try to find out in the interim.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to stall this. Again, Mr. Vincent, and the two parcels on 217 3rd Street and 219 3rd Street are in the district that I represent. And Mr. Vincent has been an upstanding business owner and a member of the West Hill Arbor Hill community for a long time. And so, I would like to give him that opportunity to expand his business to serve the needs of the community. So I wouldn't want to hold this up as
And I think in the long term, it's going to benefit everybody, because we'll be getting a steady tax base, and it's, I remember getting invoice when I was in college 20 years ago. So, it's been in the community for a long time. And I think if this is one thing we can do to help a local business now more than ever, to be able to grow and expand, now is a good time to do it.
So with that, are either of you interested in making a motion and a second?
Can I just ask, it's an interesting proposition. On the one hand, in the previous one, you provided that it be not less than the assessed value. And then in this situation, I don't know what the basis of the different, and I don't have objection to selling it, but just process and procedure wise, are you making this decision on a subjective basis or objective basis? What are the standards you're going to be using moving forward? You need to.
That's a fair point. I think that it does get into a broader discussion of, while I certainly think that there's a lot of value in making sure that the city, when we do sell land or buildings, that we sell it for assessed value at the very least. On the other piece, I think that the discussion of this is going from basically non-taxable, like this is bringing in revenue. So I think that there's a broader discussion on whether, I
also gotta look at the assessed
also,
value versus the market value. Could we really get $15,000 for these 3 pieces of land?
Right.
That's what.
Yeah, I know. I have no problem. And there's still going to be vacant properties assessed at what they are. I don't know if the assessment would change. It might go down because the sale price is going down. But these are still going to be used as vacant property, as I believe. But in any event, I'm putting aside, you need to have objective standards when you making these decisions on sales of city property. And when you do a private sale, as opposed to putting it on, having an auction, there has to be some objective standard on a private sale, and it can't be based on showing favoritism or anything like that. And again, I have no objection to this. This is a broader issue when you make these decisions.
Judy, did you want to weigh in?
yeah, there is also a provision in the New York State Constitution that prohibits municipal governments or government in general from making a gift to any individual. That kind of, there's a legal concern there as well. The appraised value indeed might be different than what the assessed value is. And one thing we could do is we could ask Ray to reevaluate the assessed value of these properties. I do have an issue with something that was appraised in terms of what it was appraised at in another conveyance that we're being asked to approve. But I'm looking at the land values in and around this area, and it is, seems proportional to what, one lot to the other. So there doesn't seem to be a real dichotomy or necessarily a misassessment unless everything's being misassessed, which
Well-
would not surprise me,
Gotcha.
you know, in that area for the actual land value.
So I guess on
Okay.
point, go ahead.
I guess my question is, we have, I think, in has sold city land for $1, less than the assessed value in the past, and I don't think these type of questions were asked. And as far as it being a gift, they are purchasing the property. The land is not free, so I'm not understanding how that would be considered a.
Well, if you sell, you know, a piece of property for, you know, 1/5 of its value, then the remaining value is actually a gift.
I think that there's more to it than that. I mean, I don't think there's been any discussion at all. I've never seen any discussion on this being a gift. And I would also bring to Mr. Conti's point, we have not set up uniform standards at all for the sale of property. We just discussed it with the previous purchase.
Yeah, I mean, that's
So,
why
I
that's
don't-
why I would be cautious about putting that language in the previous one, because you establish a standard there, then you're not using that same standard. So I would not necessarily have put that language, that amendment in the previous one. Because it's understood that we look at the assessed value, but the original language provided more flexibility.
Okay. I have an update.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's because we got an opinion from an appraiser that the market value actually is lower than the appraised value, and the price is in the range of the market value.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I thought, because, I mean, I'm looking at $15,000 for 3 lots
Can we get a copy of that appraisal?
is, you know,
It
probably what
was
we're
an
getting.
it was an opinion from an appraiser, but I'll see what we have in writing for that.
So with that, if there's no further questions, can I get a motion on that?
I move that we move ordinance 2.22.20 out of committee with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
Who was seconding?
Alan.
Oh, Alfredo. And all in favor?
Aye.
So that is Farrell, O'Brien, Robinson, Ballerin. Any opposed?
I'm abstaining
And
because I don't have the information.
okay.
And just to clarify, I have no objection here. I just want to make sure you're using uniform standards.
Yeah,
And
no,
assessed value or appraisal are both fine, and as long as we're, and that's why I was concerned about in the previous one, putting that language in.
No,
Because it takes away some of your flexibility and the flexibility to look at these issues.
And I've seen properties on the assessed value that are a lot more than what you can get in the market value, and vice versa. So, yeah, my market value.
next up, we have 153120, and also just to note that Jack Flynn is with us, as is Owusu Anane, and just in time to speak about his resolution is our treasurer. Darius, would you like to weigh in on this?
Sure, yeah, it's just a simple change in title. I've been trying to essentially standardize my frontline staff for the past several years. And I've been slowly been eliminating individual different titles like adjudication clerk and tax record clerk that sometimes have kind of become obsolete, and trying to get everybody in the same classification as account clerk. And we just had someone leave my office after a few years, unfortunately. He moved on to the school district for more money. And I just wanted to change his former title from administrative assistant to account clerk. Salary stays the same.
Does anybody have any questions? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to move resolution 1531.20R out of committee with a positive recommendation.
And a second.
Second.
Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Darius.
All right. Bye.
See you.
Next up, although not officially on our agenda, we do have two positions to speak about. And Mr. Gallen from the mayor's office is here with us to discuss that in more detail. Is there a preference on which one we do first? Well, let's go into special projects.
I'll leave it up to you.
Well, actually, we started talking about the webmaster last night, and Judy, you had some questions. So maybe we continue with the webmaster piece.
Okay.
If you want to speak a little bit about that, David, and then we can proceed with questions.
Yeah, so just to reiterate the position, the change is to take the special projects coordinator position, which is currently a 30-hour per week position, and increase it to a 37.5-hour per week position. In the 2020 budget process, this position was bumped up from 20 to 30. And the reason we increased it even more this time around is because, as many of you know, we put out a bid and we're actually on the goal line of signing a contract with a vendor to rebuild, actually not even rebuild, build a brand new website and port everything over to our new website. And that project is something that's going to be pretty time consuming. And obviously, given everything that's going on, IT has been pretty, even before this, IT was pretty bogged down with a lot of what they were doing. So we wanted, and realizing that this was going to be a much more time intensive process, we wanted Sarah to project manage that new website, the creation of it, and then the porting over of all the information, working with all the departments, with community members, etc. So that's why we are looking to make Sarah, while we're making that position a full-time position. Again, just to clarify what I wrote in the email last night, it is keeping the position the same pay. The only one caveat to that is that when we moved the position from 20 to 30 hours in the budget, we inadvertently calculated the rate wrong, so it actually resulted in a pay decrease. And then B, we didn't include the 1% raise. So that part of this adjustment corrects those two errors and then makes it a full-time position. So this would be 37 and a half, as many hours as all the other positions in City Hall in terms of full-time.
Are there any other questions about that?
I appreciate your putting in writing, commemorating this, so I have something to refer to in the future to remember what's going on here. And I do see that this is, I was also a little bit concerned about whether or not this was a substantial bump up in salary as opposed to just the conversion to the 37 and a half, and I see that it's not. So I appreciate that.
No, not a problem. Yeah, and just one thing, I'm sure you probably noticed this, council member, just for everyone else's information, we did have a similar position in IT in 2019 that got written out of the budget, and the salary is very, very comparable because that person actually left the city. So just to give you a little bit more context, it's really replacing that position, more or less.
Right. Yeah, I saw that too. Yep. Good.
And then what is the time frame that we're looking for this to be up and running, so to say?
To be honest with you, originally it was to build everything out, they were saying close to a year, to be totally done with it. But there's a pretty intensive 3 to 6 month time frame in terms of building, porting over everything over, etc. But given what's going on right now, because there's a lot of other things have been put to the side in terms of day-to-day day-to-day work with some of the other departments' websites, we actually think that we might be able to take a deeper dive into the website conversion now and try to get a little bit more done in a shorter period of time than we originally thought. So, we'll still sticking with the 3 to 6 months, but I think we might be able to put more effort into it than we originally thought up front, given the circumstances with the COVID outbreak.
So,
after
I think Mr. Robinson's still asking
I can
questions.
hear.
So after the project's finished, are we still going to be keeping this position, or is this position going to be kept out? Or
Our intent would be to keep the position. I mean, what Sarah does currently is she updates the website, she creates pages, she takes any information that departments need to put on their website or change on their website, and she handles all the formatting, that content creation. So we don't foresee that part of it going away. That's going to be a constant. But in terms of this build out, we wanted to be able to have Sarah be able to invest even more of her time and try to get this done as quickly as possible.
So
Mr.
what advantages of the new website?
Several. There's a much higher level of integration with social media accounts, community engagement. It will look a lot better. I think we can all agree that the website right now is a little, it's outdated and a little clunky, but this will give it a much more clean, streamlined look and feel to it. It'll be much easier to view information on your phone on a mobile device. A lot of the traffic now is on cell phones, and there are some pages that continue to be issues in terms of mobile integration. So that's just the real high level. I won't get into the nitty-gritty IT side of things, but I think it'll be a much easier experience for residents, for you, as council members, for our departments. We'll be able to put a lot of what's going on in social media and tie it back into the website to make it more user friendly.
Will they, question?
Yeah.
Just a follow-up question for Dave. Will they be able to post the street condition reports like we used to a while ago? And
yeah, well,
PC.
You don't mean with the new website. You mean now, like starting now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Well, particularly with the new website. I mean.
Yeah, no, I mean it'll make it easier because the new website will make it easier just from on the back end, the speed at which files can be retrieved, bigger files like that. But in terms of in the short term, we can get that document posted online too.
Okay, I would appreciate that.
Yep.
I have just one more question. Is there a needs assessment across departments and also with the council being conducted about what type of features may be best in the interest of the council or other departments?
Yes, and I'm not sure. I don't know if JR or Danielle, if are you part of that group, Danielle?
I was part of the group. They asked us to provide a list, and I believe Michelle had also provided feedback specific as to what the council's needs were with hosting videos and posting announcements. And there was a representative from almost all of the city departments providing feedback and then sitting in at some of the presentations for the various vendors.
Okay.
Michelle asked us a couple times for input,
Yeah.
comments on what we might want via emails.
Okay.
And
yeah,
I sent
and we're sorry.
the council. And I sent the final memo that I sent to Rachel to the council for review.
Okay.
So.
And we'll continue to have the council be part of that process as well. But yes, every department for the most part is part of that as well, especially the larger users of the website.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent. So I guess I would ask, are the members here comfortable with moving this legislation on Monday?
We, this now includes something for the police that we did not discuss,
That, I think that those are two different pieces.
No, they're in the same resolution.
Oh, they're in the same
Yeah.
resolution.
They got added, yeah.
Right. So let's talk about police.
That was one. So of the positions that we again that we knew we needed more urgently, that's the one position when we reached out to departments when the COVID outbreak occurred, where APD did say that they have a need there. They want to be able to post that position and hire for it. So there is some urgency around filling that position. But in terms of, I think there are a couple other positions that are in the pipeline. We just knew that APD knew that one position was something that they wanted to be able to fill as quickly as possible, especially given everything that's going on. It's an HR generalist position. I think it's an HR generalist 2 position, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm getting, okay, I always scroll down too far. Scroll down to the next.
Maybe I have it
Rest. I'm sorry. What resolution are we on now?
This
It's
is
not on-
the
It's
agenda.
not
It's not on the finance committee,
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
but it's on the email that Michelle sent from the 27th.
Right. Yeah.
24.41.20R.
24, not 41, 20. I know that she sent it to us. Here.
Yeah.
It's a $45,000 HR generalist 2 position.
So we're just adding that new amount in.
That was a new position that the chief requested to be able to help facilitate hiring.
And where is the funding? I'm sorry, did you talk about where funding's coming for that?
No, I didn't, but I'm looking right now. It's from a compensation line. Hold on, let me pull my budget book out here.
Okay. Yeah, workers' comp. That makes sense.
Let's see here. Yeah, it's from an employee benefits line.
Okay.
That must be workers' compensation. It just says.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll make a motion to move this out of committee with a positive recommendation. We're talking about resolution 24.41.20R.
It's not officially on our agenda, but maybe you can be the unofficial motioner. And so just, I guess, in terms of the council members who are here, maybe we can take a straw poll and let the group know on Monday who would be comfortable voting for this on Monday.
Yeah, I'd like to vote on it. I don't see any reason for us to have
So members,
committed. Yeah.
Hey, Jack and Owusu, I can't see your beautiful faces. Would you guys vote for this? Yes, Owusu?
Yes.
Yes, all right, great. So that is helpful for leadership to know and the mayor's office to know.
Great. Thank you very much.
That is everything we have to discuss this evening, I believe. Just a
Motion to adjourn.
well, one quick update. I just wanted to let you guys know, we talked about kind of redoing the budget process. I have been in touch with Mike Wheeler on that. And with everything happening with a focus on COVID, obviously we're not moving very quickly forward with that. But I told him that I'm ready, willing, and able to hit the ground running when he's able to and when staff is able to. So the conversation has started, and we're looking forward to continuing it.
Did you by any chance get a chance to ask for the full ERP report for?
I did. He asked which, like, if you wanted 2019 or 2020. I said at this stage, why don't you give me the most recent ones, and then we can, if you want, you know, if there's more information needed, we can get that. but would you like?
Yeah, we are overdue. We are about due for an end of the year report from the treasurer on the on 2019. Not overdue. It usually takes until about April, or sometimes
Is that-
May to do that
Okay.
one. But I would like to get it for. I'm talking about. I want to see for 2020 through March 31st for 2020.
Is that Roy Vincent that's joining
I
us?
believe that is.
It is Roy Vincent.
Hi, Mr. Vincent. So we passed your resolution through the committee, and we appreciate you joining us. If you'd like to say anything, we're welcome to hear you, but we also appreciate you looking to expand in our beautiful city.
He may be having technical difficulties. It looks like his audio is trying to reconnect.
Yeah, everything's reconnecting.
That's instructive when we think about members of the public trying to participate.
It is.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good point.
Here we go. He's on good now.
Hi, Mr. Vincent. I don't know if you just, I'm Ginny Farrell. We spoke about your resolution earlier. It's been passed through committee, so we're expecting to vote on it on Monday. And I don't know if you have anything that you'd like to add or let us know about, but we're happy to hear you.
Yeah,
Welcome, Bridget.
he's having issues on his end because I'm trying to unmute him and it can't unmute him.
Yeah, I think he may have muted his own self.
There we go.
Okay.
We can
Mr.
hear you.
Vincent?
Yes. So you say you have a meeting on Monday, so we'll be there on Monday.
Well, we're going to be doing it via Zoom then as well. So we are expecting to vote on your resolution on Monday. It was passed through the committee with a positive recommendation and everybody and unanimous. Oh, I'm sorry, nearly unanimous. We have one abstention. Just oh no, I'm sorry, that was a different.
Yeah, I
It was
abstained.
abstention.
Oh, it was an abstention. Just to possibly get some more information on what the market value was. So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we're actually all wrapped up. We appreciate you joining us, and it's great to know that we've been curious how the public would join us and interact with us. So it's great to see that you are able to do it.
Okay.
If anybody, does anybody have any questions?
No.
Are you guys open?
Yes.
Yes, Bridget. Thank you.
Take out and delivery.
All right. Thank you, boss.
Okay.
So if there's no other questions, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So how you gonna call us and or send us information about Monday? What time?
Yes, our meeting will be at the usual time, and there will be sending out that information it'll be on the website and the usual places where we send out that information. Is there anybody that is specifically, we can try to make sure to forward that to you as well.
We'll reach out to him and coordinate this, don't worry.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, JR.
All right, so we're adjourned officially, right? Was there a second?
Yep, I believe Mr. O'Brien seconded, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us and being part of this. I feel like a TV caster almost.
Thank you very much.
Nightly news.
Like a little weather thing over here.
I noticed it's very interesting, the background. It's very interesting how
you can get your own background.
Yeah, but your background right now, it's very interesting how you have managed to have on one side of your head have it be very blue and on the other side it
It's
looks
because
kind of,
I'm painting my living room.
I know.
Oh, it's a little different.
Yeah, I haven't
How'd you
officially.
do that?
Yeah, I had read. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.